Have you ever stopped to think that, so often, we're led to believe that fortune is the only thing that defines our value? Well, this is the story of Clara, a woman who, in the face of life's adversities, teaches us a valuable and counterintuitive lesson. It is dignity, not money, that truly matters. She lived the harsh reality of working low-paid jobs, dreaming of a better future, yet never abandoning those who depended on her. And even with all the challenges she faced, it was her resilience that shaped her, transforming her into someone capable of turning the tables in an unexpected way. This is the kind of story you don't come across every day. While many chase the shine of riches, Clara shows us that the true sparkle comes from within. How would you feel if, in a moment of public humiliation, you had the courage to flip the script and show the world your real worth? What would you do if you were in Clara's shoes, challenged to face your own fears and reveal your inner strength? Get ready to be surprised, because Clara's life will teach you that sometimes the greatest luxury lies in our dignity itself, and that everyone has the power to change their story, no matter where they start. Clara always knew what it meant to live without luxury, but with dignity. From a young age, she was forced to work jobs that barely paid the bills, yet she carried an impressive inner strength. The dream of studying still followed her, but her priority was making sure her siblings had food and shelter. How many times did she have to put her own needs aside, always bearing the weight of responsibility on her shoulders? While the world spun around the ambitions of many, Clara focused on survival and on keeping her family together through hardship. In moments of exhaustion, Clara refused to drown in sadness. She knew that true strength doesn't come from the absence of difficulties but from the ability to overcome them. As she often said, life isn't about what happens to us, but about what we decide to do with what happens to us. And she chose to move forward, no matter how difficult the road seemed. This determination shaped her so profoundly that, even without money or recognition, she discovered a courage few could ever understand. Time and hardship gave Clara the resilience she so desperately needed. Every underpaid job, every hopeless day, forged a woman far stronger than she imagined. Deep in her heart, she carried one conviction: what doesn't destroy me, strengthens me. And with that mindset, she kept moving ahead. What Clara didn't know, however, was that her destiny was about to take an unexpected turn, starting with a great opportunity right in the middle of the elite world. And as always, she would have to fight for her chance. Clara finally landed a job as a cleaning lady in a luxurious event hall. Though it was a simple position, she knew it gave her the chance to witness the other side of life. She spent her days polishing the shine of surfaces and sweeping away the excess of wealth around her. Yet, amid all that ostentation, Clara felt invisible, almost like a shadow at those grand parties. It was as if she were part of the scenery but never worthy of being center stage. Still, that invisibility, in some ways, protected her. She watched from a distance, learning what others failed to notice, sharpening her perception of the people around her. Clara wasn't fooled by the glitter. She knew that life wasn't for her. The guests' empty conversations, their displays of wealth, the sparkling dresses, and the fake laughter made her realize that, for all their self-importance, they were only playing a game of appearances. With her humility, she saw what many couldn't: people's true nature. She knew it wasn't gold that defined a person's worth, but the dignity each one carried, regardless of social standing. That environment, shallow and fleeting as it was, offered Clara a priceless lesson. She began to understand that, even in her discreet position, she held immeasurable power, the power of observation and patience. As she cleaned, she absorbed. It didn't matter what others thought of her. What mattered was what she was learning. She knew that this experience was only a stepping stone in her journey, and soon, the right opportunity would come. And as always in Clara's life, transformation would arrive unannounced, disguised as nothing more than a simple ball. John Miller was the kind of man everyone noticed but few truly knew. wealthy, charming, and utterly convinced of his own superiority. He was the host of an elegant charity ball. To him, life's rules were simple. If you couldn't shine, you didn't deserve attention. In his mind, others existed only to feed his vanity and status. He made it clear that the only things that mattered were what he had, and what others wished they had. Luxury, parties, and applause were his measures of success, and everyone around him was merely part of his backdrop. What John didn't realize was that his arrogance, though it placed him on a pedestal of apparent power, also isolated him from reality. He believed he could control everything around him, from the type of people he associated with to the lives he influenced. His behavior was a shield, making him seem invincible, but in truth, it only masked his insecurities. In a world of luxury and prestige, he believed the only thing that mattered was who could outshine the rest. And so, he lived in a vicious cycle of admiration and detachment. But John had no idea his encounter with Clara would change everything. To him, she was just another worker at the ball, unaware she was much more than that. With her humility and resilience, Clara possessed something he never could, a genuine connection to what truly mattered. While he lost himself in his illusions of grandeur, Clara, with her keen eyes, knew that no amount of wealth or influence could ever buy the kind of authentic light she carried within. As Clara collected glasses and served guests, something different happened. The orchestra filled the hall with music, and a tango, deep, vibrant and powerful, began to play. Clara froze for a moment, her gaze distant, as though the melody had transported her to another time, another place. The violin's notes and the pulsing rhythm awakened memories of a past she had tried to bury. The dance, the music, somehow it was all part of her story of her life, in ways she could never fully explain. There was something intimate and painful about the tango, something that spoke directly to her soul. Always a spectator, she now felt heat rising through her body as the music echoed. In her mind, she relived the hardest moments of her life. Times when, like the dance itself, she had to balance between falling and rising. The tango, with its intensity and passion, brought back Clara's wounds but also the wisdom that to heal, one must move with the same grace and determination the dance demanded. Life, she realized, was a tango of constant struggle, yet with steps of courage, one could always reach something greater. Though Clara stood at the back of the room, invisible to others, the music touched her in ways no guest could understand. In that moment, she found an expression of her true self, a strong woman, her story marked by trials and triumphs, her beauty rooted in something beyond appearances. And, like the tango's rhythm, Clara sensed she was about to take her next step. Destiny was already calling. The night had only just begun, yet the tension in the hall was palpable. John, wearing his trademark arrogant smile, noticed Clara at work. Without hesitation, he made a cruel provocation that cut through the air. "If you manage to dance with me, I promise I'll marry you." The audience, until then mildly entertained, burst into laughter. To them, it was nothing but a joke. But to Clara, the remark struck deep, another blow to her dignity already so tested. For the first time, the invisible woman became the target. The pain was sharp, and for a fleeting moment, she considered hiding, like she always had. But something inside her stirred, something she had long buried. Her anger was no longer just negative emotion. It became a flame fueling her resolve. Clara was no longer the woman who would accept humiliation in silence. The mocking laughter and scornful stares could no longer be ignored. She found herself at a decisive crossroads, her dignity on the line. And for the first time, she decided she would not leave that hall as a joke. She didn't need anyone's approval, least of all from a man who saw her as mere entertainment. With a steady smile, Clara locked eyes with John. The audience, expecting another humiliation, fell silent. She accepted the challenge. Not for him. Not for the marriage he mockingly offered. But for herself, to prove to everyone that no one, not even a rich, arrogant man, could strip away her dignity. Clara knew her response wouldn't come through words, but through dance, something she had hidden deep within, now ready to reveal to the world. As the music began, the hall fell into expectant silence. Clara stepped into position with a grace that stunned everyone, especially John. What he thought was a joke quickly became something else entirely. Clara wasn't just a cleaning lady, she was a woman with a hidden talent, a gift she had never revealed before. Her steps were firm, fluid, and charged with energy flowing from the depths of her soul. Every move, every spin, every pause carried emotion, as though dance was the only language capable of expressing all the pain and resilience she had lived. The audience, once skeptical, was swept away by admiration. Clara didn't dance like a professional, but her passion was undeniable. She captivated everyone with her presence. John, who had dismissed her as insignificant, was pulled into her rhythm, unable to grasp what was happening. He tried to maintain control, but Clara, with unexpected grace and determination, led him with mastery. In that moment, she revealed herself as she had never before, a woman who knew her worth, capable of turning the tables and shining amidst all the ostentation. When the music ended, silence broke into thunderous applause. The audience stood, clapping as if Clara were a star. With a quiet smile, she looked into John's eyes and saw, at last, a respect he had never shown her. Clara no longer needed to prove anything. Her dance was not just a performance, it was a declaration of strength, dignity, and self-control. More importantly, it was the turning point she needed to show the world who she truly was. Yet Clara knew there was still one more step left to take. As the applause echoed, Clara stood calm, her strength radiating from within. She wasn't there to bask in admiration, her glow came from knowing her own worth. When John approached with his marriage proposal, Clara smiled softly but with firmness that spoke louder than any word. She had no interest in being part of a game or bought with empty promises. What she wanted most, above all else, was respect. And that's exactly what she demanded at that moment. "No, John. What I want is dignity. What I demand is respect," she said, her eyes silencing the arrogant millionaire. John, a man used to always getting what he wanted, was left speechless. He didn't know how to respond, how to stand before a woman who, with so little, held something he could never buy, the power of dignity. Clara, head high and composed, taught everyone in that hall that a person's true worth isn't measured by possessions but by their ability to keep integrity in any circumstance. She didn't need John's yes to feel complete. She knew her value already. And by refusing his proposal, she only grew stronger in everyone's eyes. It was a lesson no one would forget. True greatness does not come from what you can purchase but from what remains unshaken, no matter the storm. With her quiet wisdom, Clara proved that dignity, when defended with courage, is something no wealth can replace. She left that hall not only victorious over John but victorious over herself. She had shown with elegance that no one should ever give up what is essential to being truly happy. Clara's story is not just about a woman who defied expectations and reclaimed her dignity. It is, in fact, a mirror of what many of us face in life. Each of us carries something unique within, something that defines us, even when we feel small in the face of great adversity. Clara's courage and dignity demonstrated that, regardless of where we come from or what challenges we face, there is always a way to shine authentically. She didn't need riches or luxury to stand out. All she needed was herself, her truth, and the strength to defend it, just as all of us should. Often, we find ourselves in situations that seem impossible to overcome, as though the world is conspiring against us. But Clara's lesson is clear. Difficulties don't define us, they test us. What truly matters is how we respond, how we rise, and how we choose to move forward. Each of us has a talent, an ability that, when used well, can change our reality. Clara showed us that we don't need to wait for the perfect opportunity to shine, because more often than not, the opportunity is already before us, waiting for our courage to embrace it. In the end, Clara's story is a powerful reminder that true wealth is not measured by what we own but by who we are. Social status and money do not bring lasting fulfillment. Confidence in oneself and courage to stay true to our principles do. We all carry within us the potential to change our lives and the lives of others. All it takes is believing in our worth and, above all, acting in alignment with it. Now it's time to reflect on Clara's journey and ask yourself, what would you do in her place? What challenges are you facing that could be overcome with dignity and courage? Clara showed us that adversities don't define who we are but how we respond to them. She rose and shined when everyone expected her to fall. Now it's your turn to do the same. What are you waiting for to flip the script in your own life? True transformation begins the moment you decide you deserve more than the status quo. It doesn't matter where you come from or what obstacles stand in your way, the power to change lies within you. Like Clara, you can turn every hardship into an opportunity. Don't wait for the perfect chance. It's already within your reach, waiting to be seized. Now it's your move. If Clara did it, so can you. So, what are you waiting for to take the next step? Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep learning how to apply these lessons in your life. True transformation begins with a decision, and that decision is in your hands.